Dragnet.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned a juvenile detail. A woman reports that a teenage boy has been stealing food from her home. She says she's seen him several times. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, April 12th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of juvenile detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Powers. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:57 a.m. when I got to the second floor of Georgia Street Juvenile. Squad room.
Now, don't try to tell me you needed 3 hours to make a simple phone call. He was arrested at 1 o'clock this morning.
That's right.
I didn't hear about it until after 4. Now, why weren't we contacted immediately? My wife was half out of her mind.
We're sorry about that. Oh, morning, Joe.
Morning.
Mr. Neff, this is my partner, Sergeant Friday.
How are you?
This is Vincent Neff's father, Joe.
I see.
Were you in on this thing, too, Friday?
That's right.
Took both of you to arrest a 15-year-old boy, did it?
We made the arrest together. Why?
Well, I'd be ashamed to admit it.
Well, just what seems to be the trouble, Mr. Neff?
My boy's in jail. He's been there all night.
Yes, sir.
I found out about it a couple of hours ago. I want to know why I wasn't called at once.
Well, sir, we called you as soon as we could. Your son wasn't carrying any identification. He refused to answer our questions. We had no way of knowing who to contact.
Well, he was scared, that's all. You can't blame him for that.
Oh.
How'd you get his name if he wouldn't tell you? You beat it out of him?
The other boy we picked up decided to cooperate with us.
I'll just bet he did. He wanted to shift some of the blame. My son's done anything at all, anything he shouldn't. You can be certain that Lemmert kid put him up to it.
Mm-hmm.
Vincent doesn't even know what this is all about.
You've talked to him, have you?
Certainly. Says it's a mistake, the whole thing.
Sure.
Oh, I suppose the police don't make mistakes, huh?
We make them.
I'll say you do, and you pulled the beauty this time.
It doesn't look that way to us, Mr.
Oh, don't tell me how it looks. I know my son. I know when he's telling the truth. He says this is a mistake, and I believe him.
Well, that's natural, I guess.
You know, I'm not going to make any wild threats or try to go over your heads, but I want that boy released, and I want him released at once.
Sorry, sir, we can't do that.
I'm being just as patient as I can with you, Sergeant.
Mr. Neff, we filed a petition on your son. There'll be a pre-detention hearing in juvenile court as soon as possible. The court will decide what happens to him after that. It's out of our hands now.
It wasn't out of your hands last night when you arrested him.
That was our job.
Your job is to protect people's rights. You're supposed to be cops, not bullies.
Take it easy, Mr. Neff.
There's plenty of crime in this town and plenty of criminals. Robberies, killings, holdups. Only trouble is they never get solved. Guess the police force is too busy manhandling youngsters and chasing bums out of freight yards.
All right,
huh?
Mr. Neff.
Too busy or too scared. You're afraid to tackle the real gangsters. You might get hurt. You'd rather pick on a teenage kid who can't fight back. Cowards, that's what you really are. You're cowards, not policemen.
Let me ask you something, Neff. Suppose a couple of guys drive into a filling station. One of them cracks the owner over the head with a tire iron while the other one cleans out the cash register. You think we ought to forget about it or go after him?
I'm not interested in hypothetical cases. I'm talking about my son.
So am I.
What do you mean?
You said you spoke to the boy. Didn't he tell you why he's here?
He said he didn't know. Is that what it is? You think he's mixed up in a filling station robbery? Is that where you're holding him?
Maybe you better ask him again.
I'm asking you.
Yes, that's right. That's it.
Well, you'd better be able to prove it, Sergeant. Believe me, you'd just better be able to prove it.
A woman across the street from the station saw two boys drive away. She got the license number.
Vince doesn't have a car.
It was young Lemmert's jalopy, but your son was still with him when we made the arrest.
Well, that doesn't prove anything. That doesn't prove they were together at the filling station. It was some other boy, not Vince.
That's what your son says, too.
Well, then why don't you believe him?
Lemmert gave us a different story.
Well, what do you expect? He doesn't want to take all the blame. He's in a jam, and he wants some company.
The woman across the street is sure there were two boys, Mr. Neff.
Well, that doesn't make one of them my Vince. Does she say it was Vince? Is she willing to swear to it?
No, sir.
What about the owner of the station? Has he identified my son?
He can't identify anybody. He's still unconscious.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry for him, of course, but you haven't got any right to blame Vince. And you haven't got any evidence against him either.
We got the tire iron that was used in the slugging, Neff.
Well, what about it?
We had it checked by Leighton Prince.
Well?
They found a set.
Well, they can't be Vince's fingerprints. They can't be.
I'm afraid they are.
Oh. No, you're wrong. You've made a mistake.
Not this time.
Look, we're sorry, Mr. Neff.
Well, why would Vince do a thing like this? There's no reason. He's had everything we could give him. It'd be different if we were poor, if he didn't get an allowance every week.
Yeah.
There's just no reason.
Well, sir, I guess he found one.
Well, I'm sorry. Sorry if I was a little rough on you.
It's all right.
I better get on home now. His mother will... She'll want to know if he's all right.
Yes, sir.
Oh, there's one thing.
Yes, sir.
If he really did this terrible thing, I'm glad you caught him right away, right after it happened. Now we've got a chance.
Sir?
But it won't happen again.
What do you got there?
Oh, I didn't realize I still had it with me.
What is that?
Well, it's one of those puzzles with numbers. You move around, try to line them up.
Oh.
The kids brought it home last night. I was showing them how to work it. Guess I stuck it in my pocket.
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy, Joe. There, you see? I got them all in order. One... That's funny.
Why, what's the matter?
Nothing. I just had a couple out of sequence, that's all.
Well?
Well, give me a minute, can't you, Joe?
You got 3 numbers in the wrong place now.
Look, Joe, I can't work the puzzle when you're watching me like that.
Oh, I see. I get it. Juvenile Friday. Yes, ma'am. I see. Well, do you know the boy? Will you give me your address, please? All right. I have it. What? Yes, ma'am, we would. Will you be home? All right. Thank you very much. Lady up in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah?
Some youngster's been stealing groceries out of her garage.
She know who it is?
She's got a pretty good idea.
Yeah?
She almost caught him. Frank and I left the office and drove out to a hillside address on Edgewood Drive, 2 miles north of Hollywood Boulevard. It was 9:17 a.m. when we got there.
Well, there isn't too much to tell. A week, 10 days ago, I started missing things from the garage here.
What sort of thing?
Canned goods. I keep an extra supply on those shelves over there in the corner.
I see.
Well, there wasn't much gone, just a couple of items now and then. At first, I wasn't even certain. I thought maybe I'd used them up myself and forgot about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then this morning, I saw him. It was right after Clarence went to work.
Well, now, about what time would that be?
At 7 a.m. That's when he leaves. No later than 5 after.
Mm-hmm.
I was doing up the breakfast dishes, and I heard somebody fussing around the garage. By the time I got to the back door, he was sneaking off across the yard. I gave a shout and started after him.
What happened then?
I guess my yelling kind of took him by surprise. Anyway, he turned around and dropped the stuff he was holding. He sure didn't wait to pick it up, though. He started off as fast as his legs would carry him. He headed up the hill there. That was the last I saw of him.
Well, now, just what was it he dropped, Miss Roman?
A couple of cans of my groceries and a big paper bag. That's it there on the stool there.
Mm-hmm.
I looked inside. Maybe I shouldn't have, but I thought it might be some more of my canned goods.
That's all right.
What do you got, Joe?
Books?
Huh?
Books here.
Huh?
Theoretical Physics, Principles of Dynamics, Frontiers of Molecular Structure.
Couldn't make head nor tail of them myself. Must be something he's studying.
Yes, ma'am.
His name in them?
No. No, they're all from the Hollywood Library.
Mm-hmm.
One of you tell us what he looks like, Miss Roman.
Yes, I guess so. First off, I'd say he looks like books.
How's that?
Well, you know, the studying
Oh,
type.
yes, I see.
Sort of thin and pinched.
Mm-hmm.
Blondish hair. Light complected.
About how tall is he?
5'6" or 7. Might look taller than he really is on account of being so thin.
Mm-hmm.
About how old would you say he was?
15, 16, somewhere in there. Just a youngster.
Did you notice his clothes?
Hat on, pants looked pretty worn. And a sweater.
What about the color?
The sweater was blue. Pants were too faded to tell.
Uh-huh.
Now, I want you to understand one thing, Mr. Friday.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm not real upset about him taking our food. If he needs it, that is. It just seems to me there ought to be a better way of going about it. Nobody has to steal.
Yes, ma'am. Is today the first time you ever saw this boy, Miss Rillman?
Oh, no. I've seen him a couple of times before. One or two mornings he walked past the house on his way down the hill. Other evening I saw him heading back up. Of course, I didn't connect him with my missing groceries then.
Well, we'll have a look around. If he just lives up on the hill, he shouldn't be too hard to find.
Oh, no, Mr. Friday. He doesn't live up there. Nobody does.
Ma'am?
Edgewood Drive gives out 100 yards beyond us, just around the next curve.
Oh, I see.
We're the last house.
9:32 a.m. Frank and I left Mrs. Rillman. We drove up to the end of Edgewood Drive, and we got out of the car.
Well, she's right, Joe.
What's that?
No place for anybody to live around here. I think you were way out in the country.
Yeah. Frank?
Huh?
Over there, halfway up on the slope.
Where?
See? Right behind that tree.
Oh, yeah.
What's it look like to you?
I don't know. Oh, I guess. Why?
Maybe that's where he set up housekeeping.
What are you talking about, Joe?
Well, didn't you ever try when you were a kid?
Try what?
Hiding out in the cave? We climbed up the side of the hill. About 200 yards east of the road, we came to a small hole. Behind this opening was a shallow natural cave. Frank and I crawled inside. The cave was about 8 feet long and 4 feet wide. The boy we were looking for was not there, but there was plenty of evidence that this was where he'd been living. A sleeping bag was rolled up in one corner. Beside it was a small supply of canned food. We found 10 or 12 notebooks filled with handwritten mathematical equations and some 50 textbooks on advanced physics or higher mathematics.
He sure believes in making use of the public library.
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Just about every branch in town.
Well, I suppose there are worse things he could be reading.
Yeah. Looks like they aren't all library books.
What do you got, Joe?
There's a couple here with book plates.
Huh?
Owners' names in them. Book plates in 3 of the texts indicated that they were owned by a person named Carl Winderman. All the other volumes were the property of various Los Angeles libraries. We contacted the office and made arrangements for another team of juvenile officers to stake out on the cave. On our way downtown, we stopped off at the Hollywood Library. We showed the librarian several volumes which belonged to that branch. Her records indicated that the books had not been checked out. She had no idea who had taken them or when. 11:13 a.m. We put out a local with the boy's description, and we checked with missing persons. As far as we could tell, he had not been reported missing. 11:46 a.m. Frank and I made several calls to branch libraries. They all said that the books in question had been removed from their shelves without authorization. We checked the phone directories for the name Carl Winderman. At 12:06 p.m., we reached him at his office at Bradfield University.
Yes, sir, I see. Well, that'd be up to you, sir, any time you say. That'd be fine with us. Yes, sir. Well, thanks very much. That's the right guy, Joe. Head of the physics department.
Mm-hmm. Do you know anything that might help us?
Yeah, he knows the boy.
4:16 p.m. Frank and I drove out to the Bradfield campus. We met with Dr. Carl Winderman in his office on the second floor of the science building.
Yes, I've talked to the boy several times.
Mm-hmm. Did you know he had these books of yours?
Of course, I loaned them to him.
Oh, I see.
How'd you happen to meet him, Doctor?
It was here at the university.
Yes, sir.
He came to see me. He had read some articles of mine. He wished to discuss them.
What's that?
It was not presumptuous. He has a brilliant mind. Extraordinary.
I see.
And he also wished to inquire about enrolling. He asked about a scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to discourage him for a year or so at least. He's very young.
Did he say how old he was?
18, that is what he told me. I'm afraid it is not the truth.
About how old would you say he is?
Perhaps 16.
Do you know his name, sir?
Peter.
And his last name?
I suppose he told me, but I'm afraid I do not remember. The typical absent-minded professor.
What about his family? Did he mention them?
No. I imagine they are not well-to-do, the way he was dressed, the inquiry about a scholarship.
Yes, sir.
Did he say where he lives?
In Los Angeles, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I think he did mention something about recently coming to California.
Mm-hmm.
From one of the eastern states, Pennsylvania, perhaps.
You wouldn't know which town, would you?
No, I'm sorry.
Is there anything else you can tell us about him, Dr. Winderman?
Well, I would say he is an happy boy.
You say he's unhappy?
Yes,
What,
sir.
What do you mean?
Lonely, aloof. It must be very difficult for him. Other people. Children his age, he would be unable to talk to them. They would have nothing in common, even adults.
I see.
A brilliant mind does not necessarily make for a well-adjusted person, especially in one so young.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Winterman. I'll leave you one of our cards. If you should hear from him again, would you get in touch with us, please?
Yes, of course. If there's anything I can do for Peter...
It's very kind of you.
Is he, in some kind of trouble?
Well, we don't know yet, sir.
I did not mean to pry. Forgive me.
Well, the fact is he's been borrowing some books that don't belong to him.
Books?
Yes, sir, from libraries around town.
To want to read, to want to learn. Is that such a serious crime? It does not seem like one to me.
Yes, sir.
And is that all he's done?
Well, he's taken some other things, too. Food, canned goods.
Yes, of course, I should have known. When he was here, I should have known.
Beg your pardon?
But it has been so long since I've seen one.
What's that, sir?
A boy who is hungry.
Frank and I went back to the office. The officers on stakeout reported that the boy had not returned to the cave. The stakeout was continued. 7:48 p.m. You still fooling with that thing?
Oh, I wasn't even thinking, Joe. I just happened to reach in my pocket.
Let me see. Did you get him an order yet?
I wasn't trying, Joe. I told you I didn't even know I was fooling with it.
I get it.
I wasn't trying.
Yeah. Juvenile Friday. Yeah. Uh-huh. Whereabouts? Okay. We'll be right over. Thank you. Kid walked into a grocery store, walked out without paying for his groceries.
Sound like our boy?
Store's on the corner of Green Street and Edgewood. Frank and I drove out to the Huggin grocery store on the corner of Green and Edgewood. 8:17 p.m. We pulled up and went inside.
I was waiting on another customer. I didn't pay much attention to him. Next thing I knew, he was sneaking out the door. Yes, sir. What can I do for you?
We're police officers. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
You from Central?
That's right.
I'm Davis, Hollywood.
Did you get a description here?
Yeah, my partner's out looking around. I'll give him a hand.
Okay, thank you.
Say, will you take care of the report?
Yeah, we will.
Thanks.
Now, this ain't no big robbery or anything like that. He was just a kid, you understand?
Yes, sir. Could you tell us what he looked like, Mr.
Huggin, Andy Huggin. There seems a sign on the window there.
Yes, I see.
Well, like I said, he was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Teenage, about halfway.
How's that?
Halfway in his teens, about 15 or 16.
I see.
Light hair, thin on a rail.
How was he dressed, sir?
Pants, sweater.
I see.
Just what did he take from your store, Mr. Huggin?
Well, I couldn't say for certain. I wouldn't have known he took anything if it hadn't dropped out from under his sweater when he was sneaking out the door.
Yeah.
Can of corned beef. That's what it was that fell.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see which way he went?
Out the door, up the street. Told the other policemen. I guess they were after him.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether I done right or not.
How's that?
In reporting it, I expect it seems like a lot of fuss about a few groceries.
No, sir.
Trouble it is, you let one of them get away with something like this, the news gets around. Next thing you know, the store's full of them, The kids try to steal you blind.
Yes, sir, we understand.
Worse than a plague of locusts.
Sergeant?
Yeah, David.
Out in the car?
What?
We got him.
The patrol car officers had found the boy hiding in an alley a few blocks west of the grocery store. We transferred him to our vehicle and drove him down to Georgia Street. 9:46 p.m., we took him up to the interrogation room for questioning.
Sit down, son.
All right, now you want to tell us about it?
About what?
Well, let's start with your name, huh?
Well,
Paul
Paul what?
Jones.
You sure about that, are you?
I don't know my own name.
Yeah, you should.
Where do you live, Paul?
San Diego.
What are you doing in L.A.?
Just looking around, that's all.
Mm-hmm. What's your address, son?
Huh?
In San Diego, what's your address?
I don't know.
You know your name, but you don't know where you live.
Only moved to California a few weeks ago.
You live with your folks?
Sure.
They have a telephone?
Uh-uh.
What's father's name?
Bill. Bill Jones.
How long you been in Los Angeles, son?
Just today.
Just today.
Hitchhiked in this morning.
Did you ever hear of a man named Carl Winderman?
Who's he?
Now, look, Pete, you're not doing yourself any good here. Did you hear what I said?
My name's Paul.
Why'd you steal that stuff from the grocery store, son?
I don't know.
What kind of an answer is that? You're in trouble, Pete. Serious trouble.
Am I?
All right, you won't tell us, we'll tell you. You didn't come to Los Angeles today. You've been here for a couple of weeks. You've been living in a cave up in the Hollywood Hills.
Yeah?
And this grocery store tonight isn't the first time you've gotten out of line.
Why'd you take all those books, son?
What books?
Well, just shows you how much these college professors really know.
Huh?
Like that Dr. Winderman. He says you're a smart kid. You got a real good head on your shoulders. Well, he's a pretty poor judge of brains, isn't he?
What you know about it?
Yeah.
He's so far ahead of you guys.
Thought you never heard of him. All right, now, Pete, let's quit fooling around. Let's have it straight. All of it.
What do you want?
Your name isn't Paul Jones. Now, what is it?
Siler.
Pete Siler?
Yeah.
Where's your home?
You found it.
I didn't mean that cave, your real home.
I don't know. I used to live with my sis back in Philly.
Well, what happened?
She got married, threw me out.
What about your folks?
They're dead. What the heck you doing? That thing.
It's just a puzzle.
Oh.
You're supposed to line up the numbers, 1 through 15.
Yeah?
Here, you want to try it?
Is that all? Just line them up?
Sure.
Now what?
Well, that's it, I guess.
Oh.
Why'd you come out to California, Pete?
Wanted to go to college. Thought maybe I could study physics.
Did you finish high school?
No, not the history and English part.
What do you mean?
Science and math, I finished them a couple of years ago when I was a kid.
Just how old are you?
16 almost.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be harder if you didn't look at it.
Huh?
That puzzle.
Yeah?
You know, let the guy see it first so he knows just where the numbers are.
Oh, yeah.
Then make him work it with his hands behind his back. For memory.
Huh.
Be harder that way.
Yeah.
I'll show you. Go ahead, mix them up.
Okay. I thought you were going to memorize it first.
I did. Take a look. I get them right?
Yeah.
It's harder that way, though.
All right, Pete, now let's go back to it.
Hmm?
Why'd you take all those books?
I wanted to study them. I was going to return them when I was through. I couldn't get a library card, not without a real address.
What about the canned goods you've been stealing?
It wasn't much, just enough to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's going to happen to me now?
Well, that's not up to us.
Well?
What do you think ought to happen?
Well, I don't know. I don't see where I did anything so wrong.
You don't, huh?
Well, did I?
You stole books, you stole food. You caused us a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Well, you're the whiz at math, aren't you?
Huh?
You add it up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On April 16th, a hearing was held in juvenile court, the state of California, in and for the county of Los Angeles. Peter Ellis Siler was made a ward of the juvenile court and was placed in a foster home. Through the efforts of Dr. Carl Winderman, he was permitted to enroll in Bradfield University as a special student in the field of higher mathematics and physics.
You have just heard Dragnet, the authentic story of your police force in action, and starring Jack Webb, a presentation of the United States Armed Forces Radio Service.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. Detective Sergeant. You're assigned to Internal Affairs Division. A man who claims he's a policeman has been accepting bribes in your city. Evidence points to the fact that he is an officer. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Monday, April 18th. It was cold in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of Internal Affairs Division. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Fulton. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:58 a.m. when I got to room 36, squad room. Morning.
Hi.
Ooh, we keeping you up? Huh? There's a couch down the hall. Maybe you can use that.
Yeah. Remember a couple of months ago, Faye was on that quiz show?
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as I heard something about that.
Well, one of the prizes was a dog. You know, they were going to give us a little pup.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out they were giving away cockers. Very nice dogs, thoroughbred.
Mm-hmm.
Faye and me talked it over and decided we'd rather have one of those basset hounds.
What are they?
One of those dogs with the little short hind legs and long ears. You know, long face, basset hounds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I see them in the magazines. You know, they got sad eyes, always look so sad.
Yeah.
Well, they're hard to get. We had to wait a while. I got the call Saturday. Pup was there.
Mm-hmm.
I went out and picked him up.
Mm-hmm. Named him Hector.
Yeah, that's it, Hector.
Why?
Why? Well, because the old expression kind of fit.
Mm-hmm.
Since Hector was a pup. Get it, Joe? Hector, see, still a pup. Oh, Hector the pup. I was up with him all night. He couldn't sleep. Kept whining.
You still work here, don't you?
I just stayed up and kind of hummed to him, did company.
You still working here?
Oh.
Anything come in this morning?
Yeah, there's a couple of mug shots over there from Sacramento.
Thank you.
I'll be glad to get to bed tonight.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am. Something we can do for you?
Man down room 38, Bunko, told me to come here.
Yes, ma'am.
DeBetta, that's his name, said see you.
Mm-hmm.
Want to report something.
All right, would you like to sit down?
Thank you.
Now, what can we do for you?
I think it's been too long.
What's that?
Well, I paid for it over a month ago. I'm tired of waiting.
You want to tell us about what you mean?
Well, Henry should be home by now. It's been over a month.
Who's Henry?
My husband, Henry Farwell. When I gave the man the money, he said he'd get Henry out of jail right away. That's what he told me.
What man?
The man who came to see me.
Oh, yes, ma'am, but who was he?
A policeman.
8:12 a.m. We continued to talk to the woman. She identified herself as Mrs. Henry Farwell, and she gave us the full story.
When did this man approach you, ma'am?
Just a minute, Mr. Smith. I got it all written down.
Ma'am?
Got it right here in my bag. Yep, here it is. March 6th. That's when I met him.
Where was that?
What?
Where'd you meet him?
He come to the house, my house. Told me he wanted to talk to me about something. Said it was important.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know him. There wasn't any reason he'd have anything important to talk to me about. But he said he knew the mister.
You mean your husband?
That's right. Henry Farwell.
Is he in prison?
Yes. Been there for 3.5 years.
We don't like to ask this, Miss Farwell, but it's necessary.
Burglary. That's what he was convicted for. Judge told him he'd go to jail for 5 years to life.
Mm-hmm.
Was this the first time he's been in jail?
I thought so. First, I thought it was all a mistake. They was wrong about the mister.
Yes, sir.
They weren't. Came out in the trial. Seems he'd done the same thing before, twice before.
I see.
I didn't know about it when we got married. Didn't have any idea.
Mm-hmm.
The mister's my second husband.
Mm-hmm.
First one died 10 years ago. Woman my age gets lonely. So when Mr. Farwell asked me to marry him, I said yes. Then I found out about the stealing.
Mm-hmm. This man said he knew your husband, is
That's
that right?
right. Told me they met several years ago.
Uh-huh.
Then he went on to tell me how the mister could get out.
What do you mean?
The way he told it, if you had friends who knew the right people, you could get out of jail.
What's that?
If the right people were paid, a man could get out of prison.
And he wanted you to give him some money?
Not at first. When he came to the house at the beginning, he didn't even mention it, not at all.
When did he bring it up?
Oh, about a week later. Came over in the afternoon. I was out in the yard, and he said he'd met the people who were important, the ones who could get the mister out of prison.
Did he say who these people were?
No, just told me he'd met them.
Mm-hmm. So what happened then?
On March 14th, he told me that it could be arranged for the mister to get out of jail.
Tell me, did he tell you how this could be done?
Well, from what he told me, he'd talk to the right people. That's the way he said it, the right people.
I see.
If he gave him $5,000, the mister could be turned out.
5,000, huh?
Yes. I told him I couldn't give him that much, that I just didn't have it.
What'd the man say when you told him that?
Asked me how much I could give him.
Mm-hmm.
I said if I sold a few things, did what I could to get more money, I might be able to pay $3,500.
Well, what'd he say about that? Say it'd be all right?
No. He told me he'd have to go back and talk to the people. Ask them if it'd be enough.
When'd you see him again?
2 days. He came back.
What'd he say then?
Told me it'd be okay. The money'd be enough.
Mm-hmm.
I got it together and gave it to him.
That same day?
No, it was 2 days later, on March 16th. That's when I gave him the money.
I see.
Well, it's been over a month now, and the mister still hasn't been turned out. I wrote to him, but he doesn't say anything about coming home. I don't think he knows anything about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I don't want to cause any trouble. Just want the mister out of prison, or else I want my money back.
You told us this man was a policeman?
That's right.
In what city?
I don't understand.
Well, what city did he work in, or what city did he say he worked in?
Here, in Los Angeles, right here.
Did he show you some identification?
Oh, yes. I wouldn't just hand over the money without that. I saw his badge.
Mm-hmm. Does it look like this one?
Let me see. Yeah. Just like that one. Same thing.
Mm-hmm. Did he give you a name?
Yes. He said he was Jim Sorvell. Sergeant Jim Sorvell.
That's Sorvell?
That's right.
I'll check it.
Did you see anything else to identify him?
What do you mean?
Well, did he show you any other cards, anything else?
You mean it might be a wrong name?
That's right.
Oh, no, I'm sure about that. I wouldn't just hand my money over to anybody. I was sure.
Well, how do you mean?
I saw his driver's license.
Did he tell you where he worked?
You mean in what department?
That's right.
Yes. It's one of the reasons I believed him, because of where he worked.
Well?
Right here in the city hall.
While I continued to talk to Mrs. Farwell, Frank put in a call to personnel. 3 minutes later, he called me out into the hall.
Let me close the door.
What do you got?
Well, I checked the personnel records.
Yeah, what'd you find out?
Looks like she was telling the truth.
What?
There is a Jim Sorvell.
City Hall?
Well, closer than that.
Huh?
Auto theft detail.
We put in a call to auto theft detail and asked that Sergeant James Sorvell see us right away. While the victim waited in the squad room, Frank and I took the officer down to the interrogation room.
Go ahead, sit down, Jim.
Yeah. Thanks. Well, what's this all about?
Well, it's a rough one, Jim. We hope you got the answers.
Now, give me a try.
How long you been a policeman?
12 years.
How long you been working auto theft, Jim?
2 years this time. I worked there before, about 5 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Well, what's this all about, anyway?
You know a woman named Farwell?
Mm-hmm. No, I don't think I do.
How about a man, Henry Farwell?
No, I don't think so. No, wait a minute.
Hmm?
A few years ago when I was working burglary, seems we had a suspect with that name.
Yeah.
Big guy. Fallen twice before, the way I remember. Bad name around town.
Might be the same one.
What about him? I already went to the joint a couple of years ago.
Well, his wife came in here this morning.
Yeah.
Says she gave a man $3,500 to get Farwell out of jail.
Lawyer?
No. Some kind of a deal. This fellow said he knew the right people. Told her a little juice would open the doors for her old man.
How do I fit into this?
Well, this guy told her he was a policeman, showed her ID to prove it.
What name?
Yours.
You believe her?
Well, no, we don't want to. We figured we'd get your side of the story first.
Well, there's nothing to tell you, Friday. I had no part in the action. That's the truth.
I hope it stands up.
It's got to. I don't know anything about the deal. Nothing at all. I wouldn't know the woman if she walked in here right now.
Well, then you don't mind letting her take a look at you, then?
No. Bring her in.
Right?
Yeah.
How'd she happen to pick me?
Told us the fellow that took her gave your name.
Must be a goof up someplace.
Mm-hmm. You got your driver's license?
Yeah.
Want to show it to me?
Sure. Next line is, take it out of your wallet, isn't it?
I don't like this any better than you do, Jim.
Here you are.
You got your badge on you?
Yeah. You want that, too?
Well, I want to see it.
All right.
Ms. Farwell says the suspect showed her a badge. Said it looked good.
I don't think it was mine.
Well,
Here.
You want to step inside, Miss Farwell?
Yes, thank you.
All right, Miss Farwell. Do you know this man?
Yeah? Seems I've seen him someplace before. Yes.
Now be careful and look carefully. Do you know where you've seen him?
I'm trying to think.
Take your time. Be sure.
Yes, ma'am. Please be sure.
Yeah, hair's a little shorter. Had a mustache before. But I can tell. I can tell for sure.
What's that?
He's the one that took my money.
Mrs. Farwell was taken down the hall where she made a complete report. We continued to interrogate Sergeant James Servell, but he maintained his innocence. He was suspended from the police department pending an investigation by our detail and the district attorney's office. A week went by. During that time, we talked to Servell's friends and the men he worked with. His financial condition was investigated. He owed some money, but he was not behind in his payments. His bank account didn't show any large deposits, and from what we could find out, he was not living beyond his means. If he was guilty, he hadn't spent any of the money that he'd taken. We asked the stats office to make a run on con men who had used a similar approach. They came back with a list of 18 possible suspects. We pulled the mug shots from the packages on the men, and we drove out to see Mrs. Farwell. She showed us into the living room of a very small house.
Now then, what is it this time? You come to bring my money back?
No, ma'am.
Well, when am I going to get it? Seems like a long time. The mister's still in prison, and I haven't got my money.
Yes, ma'am. We'd like you to look at some pictures, if you would.
What for?
We'd like to see if you recognize any of the men.
Sure, I got nothing else to do. Let's see 'em.
There you are, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir. All right. Now, looked at the pictures. Now I get the money.
No, ma'am.
When do I get it?
Well, we haven't been able to recover it yet.
What?
We haven't found it yet.
What about that man you got, Sorvell? What about him?
Ma'am?
Make him tell you where the money is. He took it. Make him tell.
From what we've been able to find out, he hasn't got it.
Now we get down to cases, huh?
What's that?
Let's lay the cards on the table. I'm getting pretty mad about it. When I first came to see you, I wanted the money back. Either that or to have the mister out of prison. Either one. It didn't much matter which, but I did want one of them.
Yes, ma'am. I understand.
Now, you've got the man who took the $3,500. Got him in jail. And you tell me you can't find the money. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. Right.
You want to know what I think? You want to know?
What's that?
I think you're all in it together. That's what I think. The whole bunch of you, all in the thing together.
That's not true.
You say so, but I think different. Now, I'm going to tell you something, Mr. Friday. I'm not going to wait any more. I want the money back, or I'm going to the newspapers again. I'll tell them what's happened. They'll get me some
Now,
action.
just a minute, Miss Farwell.
No, I won't. I've done all my waiting already. You think that just because I'm an old woman, you can push me around. Well, you just got another thing coming. I want that money, and I want it right now. And if I don't get it, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.
We're doing everything we can to get your
Well,
money
then
back.
you better start doing more, because I'm not happy at all. All you cops, you stick together. Well, this time, it's not going to do you any good.
You don't understand, Miss Farwell.
I think I do. Maybe too much. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll give you just 3 days to get that money back, or I'll scream my head off to the newspapers. You've got the man in jail. Next thing, you'll be telling me he didn't do it.
We're not sure he did.
Uh-huh. Well, he did. I guess I know. I'm the one he stole from. He's the man, and I want to see him in prison, too.
Well, if he's guilty, that's where he'll go.
I'm telling you he is. What more do you need?
Just one more thing.
What's that?
Proof. Frank and I went back to the office and met with Captain Fulton. We laid out the results of our investigation. According to what the victim had told us, we had the right man in custody. But according to the evidence we'd found, it was a case of mistaken identity. 2 days later, on Thursday, April 28th, we got a call from a bartender out on Vermont Avenue. Frank and I drove out to see him.
Hi.
I'd like to see Vince Elkhart.
I'm him. What do you want?
Police officers. Frank Smith, my name's Friday.
Oh, yeah? Want to come back here? We can talk.
Yeah, fine. All right, what do you want to see us about?
I know I'm letting myself in for a lot of trouble. Anything you guys can do to help me out, I'd appreciate it. But I ain't asking for no special treatment.
Well, now, suppose you tell us what it is.
Well, night before last, a couple of kids came in. They sat at the bar, ordered a drink.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they looked kind of young, so I asked to see their ID. Playing it safe, you know.
Go ahead.
Well, they showed me their driver's licenses. I checked them. Looked all right to me. So I served them.
Yeah?
Guess I made them kind of embarrassed. They only had one and then shoved off.
Mm-hmm.
They was no sooner out of the place when this guy came up. Told me he wanted to talk.
What about?
Said the two kids were underage, minors. That I'd served them and the beef was on.
Well, who was it?
That's why I called you. Maybe I was wrong serving the kids. Maybe I did make a mistake, but I sure ain't going to stand for no shakedown. Not a penny's worth.
This man tried it, did he?
Sure. Told me if I paid off, he'd forget what he saw.
Well, who is it?
Cop. Name of Jim Servell.
We got a description of the man who tried to blackmail Vince Elkhart. It matched Sergeant Jim Sorvell. While I continued to talk to Elkhart, Frank put in a call to the policeman and asked him to come over to the bar. It took him 12 minutes to get there. He was brought into the place and confronted by the bartender.
Would you turn around?
Sure. How's that?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How about it?
Isn't any doubt as far as I'm concerned.
No.
He's the wrong man.
We made arrangements for Vince Elkhart, the bartender, to come down to the city hall and go through the mug books. He was unable to find a picture of the suspect. We contacted CII up in Sacramento and asked them to check their files. Thursday, 5:30 p.m., we returned to the bar.
No. Come right down to it, I guess I should have known he wasn't a cop. Should have known it all along.
Have you seen this fellow before?
I'm not sure about that. Seems like I might have, but I can't be sure.
Mm-hmm.
We do a pretty good business in here. A lot of people. He might have been around, but I can't name a date or time.
Was he with anybody the night he was in here, do you remember?
I don't remember. Matter of fact, I don't even remember him coming in. Just all of a sudden, after the kids left, he was at the bar, tossing me the pitch.
Mm-hmm.
Really saddened me to think a cop would pull a stunt like that.
Well, what'd you tell him when he asked you for the payoff?
Said for him to get out of the place. That if he was going to make a pinch, to go ahead and do it, or else clear out.
Did he leave?
Yeah. Said I didn't give him any choice. Walked out.
Hello. Yeah, that's right. Just a minute. Hey, Vince.
Yeah?
Catch the phone, will you?
Yeah. Excuse me.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Sure, go ahead.
Hello? Yeah, that's right. Who? Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Yeah. No, I understand. Uh-huh. Well, it's nice of you. Sure, I thought about it. Okay. Yeah. Goodbye. You guys must live right. That was him.
The phony cop?
Yeah. He'll be right over.
Frank and I took up positions in the back of the bar. 20 minutes later, the suspect walked in.
Hi, Elkhart. Hello. Want to give me Coke High?
Sure. Looks like him. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's sure been cold lately, huh?
Yeah.
Not doing much business.
Slow night. Here's your drink.
Thanks.
Where can we talk?
It's all right, dear.
Yeah, what about the two guys in the back?
They won't bother anybody. Both gassed.
All right, Alcott, what about it?
You mean the payoff?
That's right. I talked to the boys downtown. They say they'll let you off the hook for $750.
That's a lot of money.
Your license is worth more, isn't it?
I suppose so. But I got to know what I'm buying. Who are these guys downtown?
Well, that doesn't come into it. All you got to do is dig up the money.
How high does the juice go?
What do you mean?
Just that. How far up does the payoff go?
All the way to the top?
We got enough. All right.
Yes, sir. You play along with us, and you'll do all right.
This is him.
All right, mister, let's go.
What are you talking about? What is this?
Police officers, you're under arrest.
For what?
Suspicion grand theft, impersonating an officer, and we ought to be able to figure up a couple more on the way downtown.
Oh, hey, you guys are wrong. You made a mistake.
Sure we have. Stand still.
You're going to be awful sorry about this.
Is that right?
Sure, I got a lot of friends in town. Some of them pretty high.
Mm-hmm.
You mind giving me your names and numbers? I want to be sure I got the right dope on you guys. Time I get through, you'll both be working so far out, you'll need a passport to get home.
Mm-hmm. Got it all figured, haven't you?
Front, back, and in the middle.
Yeah.
Like reading a story.
Well, I don't know about the first part.
Yeah.
But I can tell you how it's going to end. The suspect was taken down to the city hall. He refused to give us his name, and a thorough search of his person failed to turn up anything to aid in identifying him. His fingerprints were rolled. While we waited for the results of the check, Frank and I talked to the suspect in the squad room.
How long you figure you're going to be able to keep this thing up?
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, come off it. We've got you dead to rights, and you know it.
News to me.
Why don't you tell us who you are?
I forgot.
You know a man named Jim Sorvell?
I don't think so.
Well, according to that bartender, you said you were Sorvell.
Oh, he's got a big mouth.
Look, have you ever been arrested?
I forgot.
You better get your memory back.
Why?
Okay. ID, Smith. Yeah? Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Toss me that card.
Here.
Thanks. All right. 46? Yeah. Yeah. Right. 52, huh? Okay. All right, thanks a lot. You better get in touch with those big friends of yours.
I will when it's necessary.
Well, time just came up. We got your record.
Hmm?
Full name, Charles Bobo Kiernan Offner. You've fallen twice in California, once for GTA, once for attempted robbery. There's an outstanding one from Eureka and 2 from out of state, all 3 on charges of extortion. Want to read the rest of it?
How about it?
You don't have to. I'm in the box.
Where's the badge and the driver's license?
My place.
Where's that?
Hotel over on Grand.
Where'd you get the badge?
Bought it. Guy I know. It's one of the old ones. Mark doesn't know the difference.
Yeah. How about the license?
Made that up myself.
Why'd you pick Sorvell?
Looked like a good dodge. A cop who's going to cause trouble.
Why him?
Tagged a cleaning store out in Highland Park one night. Must be the place where the Sorvell does business. Clerk thought I was him. We got to talking. Things just worked out.
What about the prison deal? How'd you build that for yourself?
Oh, I know a guy up at Q. He buddies up with a prisoner, gets all the information, and cuts a letter out to me, and I pull the swindle.
How many times you worked the deal?
Collected 3. The last one was an old woman.
What'd you take?
$3,500.
Just you and the guy up in the joints, all there is?
Yeah.
You willing to make a statement?
Sure.
All right, we'll call a stenographer.
Look, can you tell me something?
What's that?
There are 2 out-of-state beats. You think they'll extradite me?
We don't call it. Why?
I'd rather do my time here in California. It's nicer here.
Yeah.
Prettier. Lots of nice scenery in California. It's different.
Well, I wouldn't worry.
Hmm?
You won't see much of it.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On July 28th, trial was held in Department 96, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Charles Kiernan Offner was tried and convicted on grand theft money, 3 counts, and received sentence as prescribed by law. Grand theft money is punishable by imprisonment for a period of not less than 1, nor more than 10 years in the state penitentiary. Sergeant James Sorvell was reinstated in his duties with full back pay. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. A woman posing as a housemaid has been stealing cash and other valuables from homes in your city. Your job? Stop her.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, October 11th. It was cloudy in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from lunch, and it was 1:17 p.m. when we got to room 45. Burglary.
Hey, Smith.
Huh?
Your wife called while you're out. Wants you to call her back.
Oh, thanks. That's funny. I'd like Faye to call in the middle of the day.
Well,
Kids were all right when I left this morning. Wonder what she wants.
why don't you call her and find out?
You're not married, Joe. You don't understand. Sometimes a guy wants a minute to think things over, sort of prepare himself if he's done something he shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. Well, have you?
Well, what?
Done something you shouldn't?
Of course not.
Then be my guest.
Okay, thanks.
And I'll dial 9 for you, too.
That's mighty nice. Funny, I know the kids are all right. Mm-hmm. Hi, honey. Yeah, they just told me. We're out to lunch. Why? Something wrong? Oh. When did it happen? I see. Does she know who? She reported? Why not? Oh, yeah. Well, what'd you tell her? I guess we could. Yeah. Sure. This afternoon, I guess. Yeah, Joseph. It'll be about 7:30, I guess. All right, honey, thanks for telling me. If anything comes up, I'll call you. Yeah, bye. Nice old lady like that.
What's that?
I don't think you ever met her, Joe. Her name's Mrs. Vesper.
No, it doesn't sound familiar.
Used to live next door to us when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Known me since, ever since I can remember.
Yeah.
She's alone now. Faye calls her up every once in a while, see if she's all right.
Mm-hmm.
Called her this morning.
Yeah.
Mrs. Vesper says she had some money stolen, some jewelry. Happened yesterday.
Didn't she report it?
Faye doesn't seem to think so. Wants me to talk to her.
All right, let's go. Well?
Joe?
Yeah?
You got to promise me something. You got to give me your word right here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to kid me afterwards about the way she treats me.
Miss Vesper?
Yeah. I told you she's known me all my life.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes she acts like I'm still a little boy.
Mm.
You know how it is.
Sure.
So you won't rib me, huh?
No.
About anything at all?
Well, what are you getting at?
Well, she doesn't think I ought to be on the force, for one thing. I might as well tell you about it. If I don't, she will.
Yeah.
She always claims I should have taken up something else.
Like what?
Oh, you know the crazy ideas people get, especially about kids.
Mm.
Well, Miss Vesper thinks I... Well, see, when I was a lot younger, real young, 10 or 12, I used to sort of memorize things, little pieces and poems.
Well, what?
Memorize things, poems and little pieces, and I'd go next door and recite them for her.
Yeah. You say she's known you all her life?
Yeah, practically, I guess.
Well, it'll be true if we don't get out there.
Well, she got a real kick out of them poems. And I wasn't much good, but she was prejudiced because she liked me, you know.
Mm-hmm. Want to go?
Hmm?
Want to go?
Yeah, but I just want to explain this, that she thinks I should have kept at it. Made it my career.
Reciting poems?
No, not exactly reciting, Joe. I didn't just recite them.
You wrote them, too.
Yeah.
Frank and I left the office and drove out to the home of Mrs. Sarah Vesper. She lived in a small bungalow on Las Palmas Street in the Miracle Mile district. It was 2:07 p.m. when we got there.
Why, for goodness sake, Frank Smith, where on earth did you come from?
Afternoon, Miss Vesper.
Mrs. Vesper? What's gotten into you, Frank? You've never called me that before in your whole life.
Well, I meant Aunt Sarah.
Well, now that's more like it. Who's this you got here with you?
Aunt Sarah, this is my partner, Sergeant Friday.
Oh, pleased to meet you.
I do, ma'am.
You work for Frank, do you, young man?
Aunt Sarah, we work together.
Oh, you don't say. Well, I expect that keeps you from getting lonesome, don't it?
Yes, ma'am.
My goodness, now don't just stand there. Come on inside, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Well, sir, this isn't the darndest coincidence.
Ma'am?
You're coming to visit me today. Oh, sit right down. Sit right down.
After you, boss.
Thanks.
Believe it or not, I was talking to your wife only this morning. Then the next thing I know, here you are.
Yes, ma'am. Faye told me.
Oh, my stars.
What's the matter, Aunt Sarah?
Oh, I just remembered that's why you're here, ain't it? On account of what I said to Faye.
Yeah, that's right.
I should never have mentioned it to her. I don't know what's the matter with me. I must be losing my mind or something. I just keep forgetting that you're a policeman.
Oh.
Well, you oughtn't to have been one in the first place. Now, if you'd just taken my advice.
Aunt Sarah.
Oh, now, don't misunderstand me, please. I'm not criticizing the police. Well, we certainly couldn't get along without them, and I'd be the first to say so, but some people have a talent for one thing, and some people are talented in a different direction. Isn't that right, Mr. Friday?
Yes, ma'am.
You take Frank here. He had a real talent for making up verses, even when he was just a little tyke. I bet you didn't know that, did you?
Well, I heard a little something about it.
A real talent, that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll remember some of his poems till my dying day. They rhymed and everything.
Is that right?
Say, Aunt Sarah, would you tell us about...
That one about the rainbow. That was one of his very best. Did he ever do it for you, Mr. Friday?
No, I don't think he did.
Oh, it gave you such a beautiful picture. Just like an artist had painted it, only with words. You know what I mean?
Well, I'm not sure I do.
Go ahead, Frank. Say it for Mr. Friday.
Oh, please, Aunt Sarah.
Now I know he'd like to hear it, wouldn't you, Mr. Friday?
I sure would.
All right, Frank. The one about the rainbow.
I don't remember it, Aunt Sarah.
Oh, now you're just being modest.
No. Yes, you are, Frank.
Joe. No, really, I don't, Aunt Sarah. I don't remember. Not a word, honest.
Seems funny you'd forget a thing like that. I mean, when you made it up yourself.
Well, it's been a long time.
Hasn't been any longer for you than it has for me, and I can still remember it, just as clear as the first time I heard it.
What?
Rainbow, rainbow, up so high. That's how it begun, Mr. Friday.
Mm-hmm. Love to hear it, Frank.
Rainbow, rainbow, up so high, blue and red and yellow and brown, like an arch across the sky. Won't you ever tumble down? Where did it go from there, Frank? The next verse, what was it?
I'm sorry, Aunt Sarah, but we haven't got much time.
Oh, well, anyway, that gives you an idea of Frank's talent.
Yes, ma'am, it sure does.
Oh, come on. Aunt Sarah, would you just tell us about the things that were stolen from you?
Miss Vesper.
Well, I suppose I should have got in touch with the police.
Yes, ma'am, you should have.
Well, I didn't see where that would help matters none. Just like closing the barn door after the horse had been stolen, and besides, I didn't want to hurt Barbara's feelings.
Barbara?
My niece.
Oh, I see.
You remember Barbara, Frank? Oh, sure. You played out in the backyard with her the whole summer she was visiting me. Kind of a scrawny girl.
Oh.
Of course, she's filled out now. You just wouldn't recognize her. Has 2 children of her own. Nice home out in Westwood.
Yes, ma'am.
What's your niece got to do with all this, Miss Vesper?
Oh, she's the one who sent her.
Ma'am?
The cleaning woman.
Well, did you know your niece was sending this woman over?
No. I guess it was supposed to be kind of a surprise.
Oh?
Anyway, she just come up to the door yesterday morning, long about 9:30, announced that she was ready to go to work.
I see.
First, I didn't know what she was getting at. Then she explained about Barbara hiring her to give me a hand. Of course, I don't need nobody. Little place like this, no trouble at all.
Yes, ma'am.
But I didn't want to hurt Barbara's feelings, so I told her to come on in. Figured maybe she could help out some of the heavy work, turning the mattresses and moving furniture.
Sure.
What was the woman's name, Aunt Sarah?
Margaret. That's what she told me, Margaret.
Do you know her last name?
No, don't think she even mentioned it.
All right, what happened next?
Well, we did the cleaning. Not that she was much of a housekeeper. Practically had to go over the whole place after she left.
About how long did she stay, you remember?
Half day. That's what she said Barbara hired her for. Must have been about, 10 after 1 when she went. Didn't even give me a full 4 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Insisted on my fixing her some lunch, too. I tell you, that woman sure had her share of gall, eating my sandwiches at the same time she was robbing me. Wonder she didn't ask for car fare.
Mm-hmm. Well, just what was it she stole?
My cash money. Cleaned out every pocketbook in the dresser. Found the bills I had hid under the dresser scarf, too.
Yes, ma'am. How soon did you find out that these things were gone?
A little while after she left, when I went to straighten up the mess she'd made.
And you still haven't talked to your niece about all this?
I told you I didn't want to get her all upset.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose she will think it's funny I haven't called to thank her.
I wonder if you'd mind calling her now.
You mean right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Do I have to?
Well, we'd like to get this cleaning woman's name and address.
You don't have to say why you're calling, Aunt Sarah.
She's bound to know something's wrong. Barbara's no fool.
Well, if you won't talk to her, we will. We can find out where she lives.
Guess I was wrong about you, Frank Smith.
Ma'am?
Guess you're turning into a policeman after all. Like looking a gift horse in the teeth, that's what it is. Barbara's going to think you don't appreciate all she's done for me. You wait there. I'll be right back.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, go ahead and say it.
Hmm?
Go on, get it over with. Ride me about the poem. I saw you smirking. I'd rather you did that than just sit there with that silly smirk on your face. I suppose you never made up any poems when you were a kid, huh?
Oh, I might have.
I'll bet.
Blue and red and brown, like an arch up in the sky. When will you tumble down? Is that it?
Oh, sure.
Of course, I wasn't a real talented poet.
Yeah. What are you staring at, then?
No, nothing at all.
Well, then stop it, will you?
No, I was just noticing you need a haircut, don't you?
Well, I'm going to get one this week.
You're not letting it grow long, then.
Why would I let... Joe, so help me if we ever get out of here.
Just slipped out. I won't say another word, I promise.
Or look either, huh?
All right, I won't even look.
Well, that isn't the strangest thing.
Did you get a hold of your niece, Miss Vesper?
Oh, yes. Yes, I talked to her, but I don't understand it. Simply don't understand it.
What's that?
A cleaning woman.
What about her?
Barbara didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh?
She's never even heard of her.
Frank and I continued to talk to the victim. Mrs. Vesper told us that the suspect was WFA, about 40 years old, 5 feet 3 or 4, weighing approximately 140 pounds. Said she was wearing a house dress and a light gray coat. She also gave us a detailed description of the jewelry that had been stolen. Frank telephoned Mrs. Vesper's niece, and she said she was not acquainted with anyone who answered the suspect's description. 5:17 p.m. The crime lab reported they had found no physical evidence at the Vesper residence. 3 days later, October 14th, we received a theft report from a woman living near Wilshire and Western. The suspect had gained entrance by saying that a neighbor had sent her to clean. The description tallied with what we already had. During the next 2 weeks, 9 more thefts were reported. In each case, the suspect had used the same M.O., and the description indicated that the crimes had all been the work of the same woman. Each of the thefts took place within a few blocks of Wilshire Boulevard, in the area between Vermont and Fairfax. In one instance, the suspect had been seen departing on the Wilshire bus. Police officers staked out buses and bus stops. Lists of the stolen property were sent to all pawn shops in the city. 2 women were brought in for questioning, but the victims were unable to give positive identification. Employment agencies for domestic workers were contacted. Newspaper want ads were checked. No leads developed. Saturday, October 29th, 2:17 p.m.
I get it. Burglary Friday. Who? Oh, yeah. Yeah, Corky. What's that? Yeah, thanks. If you can? Okay. Corky Levitt.
Yeah?
Woman's in his pawn shop trying to unload a diamond clip.
Oh?
Corky says it's on our list. We left the office and drove down to Corky Levitt's pawn shop on South Main. Over the phone, Corky had said he would stall the woman as long as he could. It was 2:28 p.m. when we got to his place. The woman was still there.
You make up your mind, Buster, give me some dough on the thing or hand it back. I'll take it someplace else.
Let's have a look at it, Corky.
Sure.
Hey, what is this?
Police officers.
Huh?
All right, let's go.
Take your hands off me or I'll
I
clock.
said let's go.
Thanks, Corky. Sure, you bet.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I suppose you let me in on it. What's the beef?
We'll talk it over at the office, huh?
About what?
This clip.
You mean it's hot? Is that what you're getting at?
Why don't you tell us?
Well, wouldn't you know it? Lucky Rita. Sure walked into it this time, didn't I?
Looks like it.
You clowns have got your minds all made up. You think I stole that pin, don't you?
Somebody did. 2:42 p.m. We contacted Control 1 and notified them we were bringing in a female suspect. They took down our mileage and location and made a note of the time. 8 minutes later, we pulled into the city hall and we again checked with Control 1. While the suspect was being searched by a policewoman, we talked to one of the victims. The victim positively identified the diamond clip as belonging to her. 3:41 p.m., we interrogated the suspect in the squad room.
All right, sit down over there.
You want a cigarette?
Yeah.
All right, now suppose you tell us about it. Come on, Rita, let's get it over with.
What's there to tell? You guys know all the answers.
We know some of them. Your name's Rita Baines. You've fallen 3 times, forgery, grand theft, burglary. You made 2 trips to Tehachapi and 1 to Corona.
So you looked up my record. Big deal.
Well, let's talk about this diamond clip, huh?
Okay. Pretty, ain't it?
Where'd you get it, Rita?
Didn't I steal it? Isn't that why you brought me up here? It's a difference. You wouldn't believe me no matter what I told you.
Why don't you try the truth?
Okay. It was a gift.
Yeah?
Yeah. Lady gave it to me.
Who was she?
I don't know. Never saw her before in my life.
Sure.
I was riding the bus yesterday afternoon. She was sitting next to me.
Mm-hmm.
Had that pin on. Asked me if I liked it.
You bet.
I said, sure. She took it off, said I could have it.
Just handed it right over, just like that.
Yeah.
What'd she look like, Rita?
I don't know. 40, maybe 45. A little on the hefty side.
And you never seen her before?
First time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when I was a little girl, my folks always told me not to take things from strangers.
Sure they did.
Yeah. Guess they were right.
All right, Rita, what do you do for a living?
Wait table.
Where?
Bar over on Pico.
You work days or nights?
Nights mostly. Don't open till 4 o'clock.
You have your mornings free then, huh?
Law against it?
Ever do any housework?
Straighten up my room once in a while.
Ever do housework for somebody else?
What do you mean?
Like a cleaning woman.
I ain't that hard up for a job, even with a record.
All right, let's talk about this pin some more.
You didn't believe me, did you?
Pretty hard to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah.
The lady it belongs to says worth over $100.
Pawnbroker didn't think so.
People don't go around giving away $100 clips now, do they? Where'd you get it?
Same on the bus asked me if I liked it. I said yes, she gave it to me.
Yeah.
You guys don't mind if I stick to that story, do you? Seeing as how it's the truth?
Which bus were you riding?
Wilshire.
Where'd your friend get off?
She wasn't my
Where'd
friend.
she get off?
I don't know. I got off first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it was somebody else telling you this, you might go along with it.
Yeah, sure we would.
But not me. Not Rita Baines. You cops give a gal a record, from then on she might as well be dead.
Sure.
Anytime there's trouble, pick her up. She probably did it. If she tells you different, she's probably lying.
You know, you got one thing wrong, Rita.
I ought to know. It's happened to me often enough. I'm the gal with the record.
Yeah, but we didn't give it to you. Frank and I continued to question the suspect, but she refused to change her story. 8:42 p.m. A special show-up was held for several of the burglary victims. None of them identified Rita Baines. 9:06 p.m. She was released from custody, and we went back to the office.
Well, if she didn't take that clip, she knows who did.
Maybe.
Yeah, stands to reason, Joe. Nobody's going to go to all the trouble of stealing this stuff and then give it away.
Burglary Friday. Yes, ma'am. What's that? I see. Mm-hmm. Yes, we would. What's your address? All right, thank you very much. Just a few minutes. Goodbye. Well, here we go again.
Another burglary?
Mm-mm. Another piece of free jewelry. Frank and I drove out to an address on South Ridgely Drive. 9:32 p.m. We talked to Mrs. Lucy Heflin. She showed us a pearl choker that had been given to her by a woman she met at a bus stop earlier in the evening.
I didn't want to take it. I told her so, but she wouldn't listen.
Yes, ma'am.
And then afterwards, when I got home and thought about it, well, I started wondering if maybe there was some reason why she was so anxious to get rid of those pearls. So I called you.
Just where was it you saw this woman, Miss Heflin?
Corner of Wilshire and Barstow. That's where I was waiting for my bus. I take the Wilshire Express home.
Uh-huh.
She was on a local.
I see.
And when it pulled up, she got out. I guess she must have turned her ankle or something. Anyway, she dropped her pocketbook.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I helped her pick up her things, and that's when she gave me this choker.
I see.
Said she didn't have any use for it herself and for me to keep it. Tried to give it back, but she wouldn't wait.
Mm-hmm.
I tried to follow her, but just then my bus came along, and I knew there wouldn't be another one for maybe an hour.
Yes, ma'am.
They don't run very regular after 8 o'clock.
Yes.
Anyway, I figured I could always return the choker if that seemed like the best thing.
How were you going to do that, Miss Heflin? Do you know the woman?
Oh, no, but I watched her from the bus. We had to wait for the light to change.
Yeah.
Saw her go into a building, apartment house.
Oh?
I suppose that's where she lives.
Miss Heflin told us that the woman had entered an apartment house on Barstow Street, 2 doors from the Wilshire corner. We asked her to describe the suspect, and her description tallied with what we already had. 10:15 p.m. We drove over to the Barstow Avenue address and talked to the manager of the apartment. He told us that a woman answering the suspect's description lived on the second floor, apartment 7. He said that her name was Edna Landy. Frank and I went upstairs to talk to her.
Well, this must be it.
Well. Somebody's coming.
Yeah.
Ms. Landy?
Yes, sir.
Police officers.
Oh,
I'd like you to come downtown with us, Ms. Landy.
all right. I'll get my coat.
Never mind. I'll get it for you.
It's in the closet over there.
Okay. I'll look around while I'm at it, Joe.
Yeah.
You won't find anything.
That's so?
I gave the last of it away just this evening.
Mm-hmm.
Lady I met at the bus stop. Gave the last piece to her.
I see.
She was very kind to me. Helped me when I dropped my purse. I'm glad I had something nice for her. Pearl choker, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Place is clean, Joe.
All right.
I said you wouldn't find anything.
Why'd you do it, Miss Landy? Why'd you steal those things?
Oh, I wasn't stealing.
Oh, you weren't, huh?
Of course not. I'm just teaching them a lesson.
Yeah.
They needed it. Needed it bad. Never trust anybody. Always say you're stealing from them.
Well, who are you talking about, Miss Landy?
People that hired me to work for them. Do their cleaning.
These people didn't hire you.
They're all the same. Folks out here, back east, all the same.
Where's back east?
Chicago, Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't matter how much you do, how hard you try.
Ma'am?
Sooner or later, something's missing. They say you took it.
Mm-hmm.
Worked for them 10 years. Doesn't matter. Least little thing gets lost, they say you're a thief.
I see.
Made up my mind to show them. As long as they're going to blame me anyway, might as well do something to deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Good lesson. That's what they need.
All right, let's go.
I'm an honest woman. I've always been honest.
Sure.
I never took that money from Mrs. Dresser. She was wrong to say I did. Never took nothing that didn't belong to me.
Until you came out here.
That's different. Even then, I wasn't taken from myself. I gave all the jewelry away. It wasn't for me.
Well, it was more than jewelry, Miss Landy. A lot of money missing, too.
No, I didn't keep it.
Oh?
I sent it off, every penny. Sent it to charity, different charities all over. I wouldn't keep something that wasn't mine.
I see.
Maybe next time they'll be a little more careful who they say is a thief.
Yes, ma'am.
It isn't right to accuse somebody when she hasn't done it just because you're the cleaning woman. That doesn't mean you're not honest.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I showed them. Showed them if I really wanted to be a crook, how easy it was.
Mm-hmm.
You mustn't think I was doing anything wrong.
No.
Just trying to make them understand, that's all. Cleaning woman's like everybody else. She's got feelings, too, and pride like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe now they'll see where they made their mistake.
Yeah.
Well, they better. I won't stand for being called a liar and a thief, not anymore. Folks better treat me a whole lot different from here on in.
Well, that's right, Miss Landy.
What?
They will.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On December 14th, a hearing was held in Department 96, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that hearing. Edna Foster Landy was examined by 3 psychiatrists appointed by the court and was found to be mentally incompetent. She was committed to a state medical hospital for an indefinite period of treatment. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to burglary detail. You get a call from a citizen that a burglary is in progress. You know the exact location. Your job, stop it.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Tuesday, June 14th. It was warm in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of burglary detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Captain Bernard. My name's Friday. We were on our way back from a show up, and it was 11:47 p.m. when we got to room 45, burglary squad room.
You want to get started on the report?
Yeah, all right.
Well, I should be glad to get home. I'm tired.
Yeah. Here.
Thanks. You seen the new building yet?
What?
Seen the new building yet?
Yeah, part of it.
Yeah, sure is great. They thought of just about everything. That lab looks like something out of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's all steel, tile. Lee Jones is going to flip.
Well, it's going to feel to have all that room.
Well, it's going to be great to have the lab in the same building anyway.
Mm-hmm. Burglary Friday. Yeah, that's right. What's that address? No, don't try to stop him. No, right. Goodbye. Get your coat.
Huh?
It's a burglary.
Yeah.
The guy's there now. Frank and I left the city hall, code 3. A few blocks from the place, we cut off the red light and siren. The address was a large drugstore located at the corner of Olive and Santee Streets. We parked the car in the middle of the block and walked the rest of the way. The store was dark when we arrived, but the front window had been smashed and the sidewalk was covered with broken glass.
Stay waiting here. Don't go messing things up.
We're police officers.
Oh, I've been expecting you. I'm the one that telephoned you. I'm Arthur Muncie.
All right, sir. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello. Took you long enough to get you. The thief's gone.
Where'd he go?
He just took off, that's all. Took off.
Which way?
Down there. There, right down the street.
Do you have a car?
I don't know. I didn't see one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if he did, he didn't drive it. He went away, down the street, you see? See, that way.
Now, how long ago did he leave?
Right after I called you. I come back here to keep an eye on him. He crashed through the window and took off. Running just as fast as he could, down that way, the street.
What did he look like? Can you tell us?
Sure. I got a good look at him. Real good when he come out through the window. He kind of laid on the sidewalk for a minute, like it was hurt. Right after that, he run off.
All right, sir. Now, if you give us a description.
Oh, you want it just the same as I give it to the other fellows?
Who's that?
The other cops. I give them a good one. I told them all about the thief.
Where are they now, do you know?
They took out after him. They got in the car and drove off looking for him.
How long ago was that?
Right away. They drove away right behind the man. It wouldn't surprise me a bit, but what they caught him, they was right behind him.
Mm-hmm.
Now then, you want to know what happened?
That's right.
I thought you would. Well, I was on the way home from the movie down the street. I go there every Tuesday night. They got dishes, you know.
What's that?
Giving away dishes. I've been going since they started. Tonight was soup bowl night. Mm-hmm. Already got 5 of them. Tonight fills out my set.
Yes, sir. How about the burglary?
Hmm?
The burglary. Would you tell us about it?
Oh, yes. Well, because I get to talk and the back gets loose. You gotta stay on the track.
Yes, sir.
Well, then. Now, yeah. Oh, where was I?
You were on the way home from the movie.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was just walking along. I got here by the drugstore, and I heard this noise. First off, it kind of scared me. I didn't expect it, you know.
Yes, sir. What was it?
The noise?
That's right.
Glass. A whole lot of glass being broke.
Mm-hmm.
I turned around, and right away, I knew it come from the drugstore. So I went over to take a look.
Yeah.
What do you think I saw?
I wouldn't know, sir.
Would you like to take a guess?
Look, mister, why don't you just tell us?
This fella was laying right on the floor, right in the middle of the floor. The glass all over. I guess he'd fell on one of the showcases. He sure broke it all up.
Mm-hmm.
Just laying there, not moving at all. Then, all of a sudden, quick like, he jumped up, and that's when he saw me, standing there looking right at him. He saw me.
Yes, sir.
Right off. I knew he didn't have no right in the store. I knew it right away.
Mm-hmm.
You know how I knew?
Yes, sir, I have an idea.
You?
No, I don't have an idea.
Well, then, the light wasn't on. No, sir, there wasn't any light on. So I knew he was a thief. That's when I went to call you.
Mm-hmm.
Use the phone booth there, see? Right across the street, able to keep my eye on the place all the time.
Yeah.
Come back here to make sure he didn't get out. And first, I thought the guy was gone. You see, I couldn't see him at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then he came out from behind the counter back in the back of the place, and I could see he was hurt. Something was wrong with his arm. He held it kind of like this. See? Like there was something wrong?
Yes, sir.
He was trapped. No way to get out. With his arm hurt, he couldn't climb out. So what do you think he did?
Well, I wouldn't know.
Your turn.
Go ahead, will you, please?
Started running, come right at the window, running as fast as he could. Crash right through it. Broke clean through it. Landed here on the sidewalk. There, see? Right on the sidewalk. Glass all around him.
Mm-hmm.
Laid there for a minute, and then he got up and took off down the street. He was hurt, though, bad. I could see where he'd hit his head on the window, all cut up.
Would you know the man if you saw him?
Oh, you bet I would. I'd know him any place.
We'd like to have you come downtown, look at some pictures.
Sure. Anything I can do, you just name it.
All right.
I'd score to settle with that guy myself. I want to see you get it.
Yes, sir, we understand.
Ought to be ashamed of himself. Whole thing's his fault. Never would have happened if it hadn't come crashing out that window.
What's that?
My personal reason for wanting to see you get him.
Hmm?
He made me drop my soup bowl.
We got a complete description of the suspect, and a local broadcast and an APB were put out. Arrangements were made for the witness to be taken to the city hall to check through the mug books, and then Frank and I started to canvass the area. 12:20 a.m.
You think he made it?
I don't know. The way Arthur Muncie put it, he was hurt pretty bad. Couldn't get too far.
Yeah.
Want to pull up? Let's check that alley.
All right.
No, it doesn't go all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get out. I'll cover the far side. Good. How about it? All right, come on out. Come on, we can see you.
All right. I give up. Don't shoot.
Just
Don't shoot.
stand there where we can see you.
I got my hands up. I'm not going to cause any trouble. I give up. Now, please don't.
All right,
shoot,
walk
please.
out here. Keep your hands where we can see him.
I'll check him, Joe.
All right, turn around. Put your hands against the wall.
All right. I'm doing just what you say. Just like you tell me now.
All right, he's clean. All right, turn around. Come on, put your hands back.
No, look, please, don't put any handcuffs on me. Please don't. My wrist is broken. I can't do it. I can't
All right,
stand.
stand still. Put your hands behind your head and walk out toward the street.
All right. Get me a doctor, will you? I don't feel good. I think I hurt my head. No, I'm telling you the truth. You can see yourself. I think I hurt it.
Come on, keep walking.
I don't feel good. I got awful pain in my head.
Yeah, well, it's going to get worse. The suspect was taken to Georgia Street Emergency Hospital for treatment. We identified him as Leroy Ernest Finch, 27 years old. He had a record listing 2 convictions of burglary along with several misdemeanor arrests. His mugshot was shown to the witness, and we got a positive identification. After emergency treatment, Frank and I were able to talk to him.
How about it, Finch? Make a statement?
About what?
The burglary.
You guys are forgetting something.
What's that?
I'm the one who's sick. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't think about any burglary.
That's a nice try, Finch, but it's not going to work.
You better tell me what you're talking about.
We got a witness who saw you break into a drugstore tonight. He's willing to go to court with it.
Well, then you better get a new witness, because the one you got is all worn out.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
How'd you get cut up?
A couple of guys tried to rob me. I didn't like the idea, and they put the screws to me.
You expect that story to stand up?
You got to prove it didn't happen.
We can.
Well, then be my guest.
Why don't you save us all a lot of time and cop out here?
Well, that'd make things real easy on you, wouldn't it?
That'd help.
Well, it's too bad I can't go along with you boys, but I'm not going to carry a beef I didn't build.
You want us to believe that, don't you?
I don't care what you believe. I'm telling you the truth. I was mugged tonight. A couple of guys took my wallet, beat me up, and that's the way it is. There's nothing you can do to change it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now, if I knew about any burglaries, I'd tell you there's no reason not to.
I can think of a couple.
Spell them.
You've fallen twice before.
I thought we'd get around to that. Well, you guys better take another look. You can't bring up my record in court. You're going to have to make this on your own, and I'm giving you nothing.
It's a little late, isn't it?
Huh?
You already have. That morning, the suspect was removed to the prison ward at General Hospital. He was reported in good condition and was expected to recover in time to stand trial. Frank and I worked with the district attorney's office in preparation of the case. A check of the drugstore by Harlan Stahl of latent print detail had turned a complete set of usable prints. Bloodstains found on the floor of the place were of the same type as Finch's. Particles of cloth on the transom where entry had been made matched the suit the suspect was wearing. According to the district attorney's office, the case was complete and the conviction was assured. Thursday, June 16th, we attempted to re-question the suspect, but he was sullen and uncooperative. 6:47 p.m., Frank and I got back to the office.
How about something to eat?
All right, where do you want to go?
How about that taco place on Broadway?
We were there yesterday.
Good food. Prices are in line.
I don't know. I think you could live on beans and tacos, couldn't you?
Sometime I'd like to try.
Yeah. I get it. Burglary Friday. How long ago? Right. Now we'll be right over. Your dinner's going to have to wait tonight.
Huh?
Leroy Finch.
Yeah?
He just broke jail. We left the office and drove over to General Hospital. An immediate warning had gone out to all officers in the city carrying Finch's description. As far as we knew, he was still wearing hospital clothes and wouldn't be too difficult to spot. We went up to the 13th floor and met with a guard who had been on duty.
I see you went out this way.
13 floors to the street.
Not easy to believe.
How do you make it?
Only as we can figure, he tore the bed sheets into strips, braided them together, worked at one of the bars until he could slip through. Must have looped the sheets around the other bars and lowered himself.
How far could he go that way?
2 stories. After that, he must have rested on the ledge while he pulled the sheets down after him. Kept going until he got to the street.
Anybody see him on the way down, do you know?
We're checking now. Not likely. If there had been anyone, they'd let us know.
Yeah.
Sure hate to see that guy on the loose. The way he talked, he's going to cause a lot of trouble.
Any chance he had help getting out?
No, he's the only one in the room. Didn't have any visitors. Door was locked.
You mention any friends in town? Anybody you might go to?
No, about the only thing he talked about was the beef against him. All the time saying that he was going to beat it. How he was going to blow your case sky high.
Yeah.
He was sure of himself. Said you'd never get him into court. He didn't have a chance.
Yeah.
It looks like he might have been right.
It isn't going to change. He hasn't beat it.
Yeah?
He just postponed it. For the rest of the night, the area was subjected to an intense search. All people in the vicinity were questioned. Cars going into and out of the blockaded section were checked. At 7:30 the next morning, a search was called off. Apparently, Leroy Finch had made good his escape before the warning had been sounded. For the next 2 days, Frank and I checked everybody listed in his package. Friends and relatives were placed under surveillance. All known associates and places he was known to frequent were checked. Word went out to informants for possible leads. Every step was being taken to bring Leroy Finch back into custody. Sunday, June 19th, we got word that Finch had been seeing a woman just before his arrest. Her name didn't appear in any of the reports. Frank and I drove out to see her.
I guess this is it.
Well, what about the back?
Oh, this is the only entrance.
All right.
I'll get the door.
Okay.
I'll try it again.
Yeah? Who is it?
Like to see Miss Wall, please.
Who is it?
Like to talk to you. It's important.
All right. Just a minute.
You think he's here? I don't know. Better be ready for him.
Yeah.
Come on up. What do you want to see me about?
You alone here?
Yeah, why?
You mind if we check?
No. Go ahead. Come on in the living room. What you looking for?
We're police officers. You know a man named Leroy Finch?
Yeah?
Okay, Joe.
I could have told you that going in.
All right.
Sit down. I'll just have some coffee. Looking at the Sunday funnies.
Yeah.
You got to excuse the way the place looks. I wasn't expecting company.
It's all right.
Pour you a cup of coffee?
No, thanks.
How about you?
All right.
What do you want to know about Roy?
When'd you see him last?
Oh, let me think. This was a week, 10 days ago.
Not since, huh?
Uh-uh.
You heard from him at all?
No. What's this all about? What's Roy done?
It's all been in the papers.
Outside of the funnies, I could print it blank. What's he done?
We want to talk to him.
Oh, like that, huh?
That's right. What do you know about him?
Nice guy. Good spender. We've been out a couple of times. Dinner, dancing, nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
Dress is good. Looks nice. Wears too much padding in his coat. Outside of that, he looks like something in a magazine.
Yeah. Where'd you meet him?
Cafeteria downtown.
Mm-hmm.
I was in there eating one night. The place was pretty crowded. And he came over and asked if it'd be okay if he sat at my table. I told him, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Finished eating, and we went out and had a couple of drinks.
How long ago was that?
Oh, let me see. Just a couple of months.
You ever talk about any of his friends?
Hmm.
You know where he lived?
I don't think he had one place. Kept moving around. You know, one hotel this week, some other place the next. Just kept moving.
Where was he staying the last time you saw him?
I don't know. Some place down on Pico, I think.
You can't give us an address, huh?
No.
All right, Miss Woe. We'll leave you one of our cards. We'd appreciate it if you could call us in the event Finch gets in touch with you.
Well, sure. I hear anything, I'll call you right away. Oh, excuse me a minute, huh?
Go ahead. We can find the door.
Thanks. Hello? Uh-huh. Oh, yeah, just a minute. Mr. Friday?
Yeah.
Your office. They want to talk to you.
Thank you. It's Friday. When? I'll be right over. Thank you very much, Miss Woe.
Don't mention it.
Let's go. Yeah. What do you got? They found Finch.
Yeah.
He's been hiding in a house in Highland Park.
Is he there now?
No, he left about an hour ago.
Whose place belonged to?
I don't know. If we want to talk to him, we better step on it.
Yeah.
He shot them both. Immediately for Georgia Street Receiving Hospital, where the latest victims had been taken. We talked to the doctor in attendance. He identified the couple as Mr. and Mrs. Fred Gilner. He went on to say that both of them had suffered serious gunshot wounds. Mrs. Gilner had been hit in the left shoulder and in the neck, while her husband had been shot in the arm and chest. The man was on the operating table at the time, but the doctor said we could talk to the woman briefly. Frank and I went into the treatment room.
Miss Gilner. Miss Gilner?
Yes,
We're police officers, ma'am. I'd like to talk to you if you feel up to it.
I guess so. I guess it's all right.
We'd like you to look at a picture and see if it's the man who shot you.
Where is it?
Right here. I'll hold it for you. This the man?
It's hard to see it.
Do the best you can, please.
Yes. That's him. He's the one.
Can you tell us what happened?
How's Fred? Have you heard how my husband is?
We don't know yet, ma'am.
Shot Fred, too, you know. Shot us both.
Now, can you tell us what happened?
Came into the house last Thursday night. Came in.
Yes, ma'am.
Tried to rob us. Fred surprised him in the closet. Guess he was trying to steal some clothes.
It was Thursday?
Yes, night.
All right. You can go on, please.
Had Fred's gun. Must have found it in the bureau. Had it pointed right at us. Kept waving it around.
Yes, ma'am.
Made us stay in the house. 3 days. Kept us prisoner. 3 days with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Then tonight, Fred tried to get the gun away from me. There was a fight. Terrible fight. Him and Fred. Fight.
Do you want to stop, Miss Gilner?
No, not much more. He shot Fred. Cold blood. Shot him. Then me. Kept us prisoner, then shot him. Awful thing. Shot.
All right, Miss Gilner. We'll do what we can.
Yeah. That's the best thing, arrest. The best thing.
want to check the doctor?
Yeah. Excuse me?
Yes?
Where can we find Dr. Savern?
I think I saw him a couple of minutes ago. He went into treatment room number 3.
All right, if we go in?
Yes, he's alone.
Thank you. Doc?
Oh, yeah, Joe. Frank, come on in.
Thank you. How'd it go?
Tough one. I think he's going to live.
That's good.
Hope he feels the same way.
What do you mean?
Bullet severed the spinal cord.
Yeah.
He'll never walk again.
A check was made at the Gilder house, and their automobile was found to be missing. From papers in the house, we got a make and license number. A supplemental broadcast was gotten out carrying the information. The description of Leroy Finch was broadcast to all policemen in Southern California every 30 minutes. At the end of each transmission, the officers were warned that the suspect was armed and was to be considered extremely dangerous. Border stations were notified, and the checkpoints into Nevada were alerted. Bus and railroad stations were covered, and airline terminals were placed under surveillance. Roadblocks were set up on highways into and out of Los Angeles. If Leroy Finch was still in the city, every precaution was taken to prevent his escape. 36 hours went by without word. Tuesday, June 21st, Frank and I checked into the office.
I'll check the book.
Good. Friday. Yeah,
Been trying to reach you guys. Where you been?
we just got back from 77. What's the matter?
You better check with the skipper.
Huh?
That car Finch was driving?
Yeah.
They just found it.
The vehicle had been found by a motorcycle officer on a side street in the Hollywood area. As soon as he'd made sure of the identification, he'd notified Captain Bernard, and then he'd staked out on the car. 4 teams of officers had been dispatched to the scene, and a search of the area was started. Frank and I went down the hall to Chief Thad Brown's office, and we checked with Captain Bernard. He told us to leave for the scene immediately and take charge of the investigation. We went back to the squad room before leaving.
You want to sign us out?
Yeah. I got it. Burglary Friday. Oh, yeah. Speak up a little, can't hear you. What's that? No, I got it. All right, we'll be right there.
What do you got?
It was Hazel Wool.
Finch's girlfriend?
Yeah. He just walked in. We notified Captain Bernard what happened, and along with him and 2 teams of men from robbery detail, we left for the woman's address. The building was covered completely, and Frank and I went up to the front door.
Who is it?
It's Joe, honey.
Oh, Joe. What do you want?
Like to see you.
I'm kind of busy right now, Joe. Can you come back later?
Finch must be with her. Yeah. I'm leaving town. It won't take very long.
Just a minute.
Follow me up and take it easy. All right.
Hi, Joe. I didn't expect to see you.
Got a call from New York. Got to get back there right away. Thought I'd come over and tell you. Sorry about that date for tomorrow night.
Oh, it's okay. I understand.
All alone, huh?
Yeah, but I was just getting ready to go out.
Anybody I know?
I don't think so. Friends out in the valley asked me over for dinner.
Well, I sure wish I could keep that date tomorrow.
So do I.
Hey, I wonder if I could have a drink of water.
Yeah. Guess so.
I'll get it.
Here, I'll come with you. Here's a glass.
Thanks. Where is he?
Bedroom.
You alone?
Yeah. He's got a gun.
Why don't you stay here?
All right, be careful.
Thanks a lot. Well, I'll be running along.
Okay.
All right, Finch, we know you're in the bedroom. Throw that gun out and you follow it. Come on, Finch, throw out the gun.
You come and get me, cop.
We can wait a lot longer than you can, Finch.
Well, let's see.
We'll take the building apart if we have to.
Go ahead. I'm not going to walk out of here.
All right, you called it. Frank?
Yeah.
Get downstairs, ask him to bring up the gas equipment.
Okay. Watch your face coming out.
All right, come on, Finch, get up.
Now, leave me alone, cop. Leave me alone.
Come on your feet.
I can't. I'm hurt. I can't get up.
You're not hurt that bad. It's just a shoulder wound.
I am, too. You don't. I'm going to die. I know it.
Come on, Jeff.
I'm going to die.
You're pretty sure of that, aren't you?
Yeah. I can feel it.
You got it wrong, Finch.
Huh?
It won't be that easy.
The story you have just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On October 4th, trial was held in Department 97, Superior Court of the State of California, in and for the County of Los Angeles. In a moment, the results of that trial. Ernest Finch was tried and convicted of burglary in the first degree, escape, a felony, assault with intent to commit murder, 2 counts, and grand theft auto, 1 count. In view of his past record, and because of the viciousness of his crimes, he was sentenced to life imprisonment in the state penitentiary without possibility of parole. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. The names have been changed to protect the innocent. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to robbery detail. You get a telephone call from a woman who wants to see you. She says it's about her husband. She's afraid he's going to pull a holdup. Your job? Check it out.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime. For the next 30 minutes, in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case transcribed from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Wednesday, May 18th. It was cool in Los Angeles. We were working the day watch out of robbery detail. My partner's Frank Smith. The boss is Chief of Detectives Thad Brown. My name's Friday. I was on my way into the office, and it was 7:49 a.m. when I got to room 27A. Robbery.
Morning, Joe.
Hi, Bob. Well?
Well, what?
Good morning, Frank.
Oh, hi.
What's eating you?
Nothing.
Are you mad about something?
What would I be mad about?
I don't know. You didn't say good morning.
I'm just not going over there anymore, that's all.
Over where?
The Talbots.
Who?
The Talbots, you know, live down the street, Fells Real Estate.
Oh, yeah.
We bought our house from it.
I see.
We got to be friends. At least his wife and Faye are friends. I never cared for him much myself.
Mm-hmm. What happened?
Hmm?
Between you and him, did you have a fight?
I don't fight with people, Joe. You know that.
Oh, that's right.
I just found him out, that's all. Just found him out, the kind of a guy he really is.
Is that right?
Yeah. They use signals.
What?
Signals, him and his wife. Can you imagine that? They use them.
What kind of signals?
Different ones for different words.
Well, what do you mean?
When they play charades.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well, that's too bad.
Had us over their place last night. Some other couples, too. About 8 or 10 of us in all. Yeah, 10. 5 on each side.
Each side.
Yeah, for the charade game. You played it, haven't you?
Yeah, when I was about 10 years old, we used to play.
Well, now, look, buddy, it's no kid's game. Not the way they play.
Is that right?
Oh, they give you stuff to act out. Titles and quotations. You've never even heard of half of them.
Mm-hmm.
And to top it off, they got signals.
Yeah.
Noun, verb, little word, big word, person's name, letters of the alphabet. They got signals for all of them. You can spell something out. What's the point of the game?
Well, beat you pretty bad, didn't they?
Huh?
Last night in the game, you lost.
That hasn't got anything to do with it, Joe.
No, I don't imagine.
Doesn't matter who wins or loses. It's the principle of the thing.
That's all it is.
Signals.
Yeah, I'll get it.
And they use them.
Robbery Friday. Yes, ma'am. Well, I don't know. What seems to be the trouble? I see. Yes, I guess we could. Where is that? Are they open this early? All right. Yes, ma'am, we'll be there. Goodbye. Lady wants to talk to us. Says she'll meet us at a bar out on Melrose.
What's it all about?
Her husband.
Yeah.
He bought a gun. Frank and I drove over to a small bar on the corner of Melrose and 8th. It was 8:23 a.m. when we got there.
Morning, gents.
Morning.
Hello.
What'll it be, a little eye opener?
Just coffee.
How about you?
I'll have a cup, too, please.
Well, the plate isn't ready yet. I just finished putting it on.
That's all right. We're in no hurry.
There's a cafe right around the corner. They're open now.
Well, we'll wait.
Suit yourself. I guess you guys aren't like me.
How's that?
When I want my morning coffee, I want it right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know I'm awake until after I've had a couple of cups.
Mm-hmm. Start if we take a booth?
Sure. First one's all cleaned up. I haven't had time to get to the others yet.
All right. Thank you.
Looks like we got here first.
Yeah.
Did she give you a name? Did she tell you her name?
No. No, said she didn't want to talk over the phone.
Oh. Joe.
Well.
Hi, Sally.
Hi. Give me a shot, will you?
Sure. Scotch?
Yeah, lie back.
Okay.
Go ahead, mister. Take a good look.
I was waiting for somebody. I guess I made a mistake.
Yeah, you sure did.
I'm sorry.
A little later on, I might be interested, but not at 8:30 a.m. Getting worse all the time, ain't it? Gal can't even have a morning pick-me-up without some guy starting to move in on her. Well, here's looking at tonight.
Down a hatch.
Put on a tab.
Yeah, sure.
See you around.
Hey, your coffee's about ready.
All right, thank you.
Want cream and sugar?
No, black.
How about you?
Same.
Coming up. Don't pay no attention to Sally.
Yeah?
She must have got out on the wrong side of the bed today.
Mm-hmm.
Usually she's real friendly, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So just don't take it personal, huh?
That's all right. Forget it.
It's too bad you guys came in so early. Long toward evening, we get a lot of action here.
We're meeting somebody.
Okay. Just telling you, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
God.
Whew.
Yeah, boy, that's hot, all right. I think I burnt my tongue.
That's too bad.
Tomcat Bar, Mike speaking. Who? Well, I don't know. Yeah? Yeah? Okay, sure. Hey, one of you guys got a name sound something like Friday?
That's right.
Well, you're being stood up.
Huh?
She said to tell you not to wait.
Frank and I left the Tomcat Bar and we went back to the office. 10:17 a.m. An informant called with a tip about a grocery store holdup that had taken place the previous Monday. We interrogated a possible suspect, but his alibi checked out. The next day, Thursday, May 18th, 9:43 a.m.
I got it. Robbery, Smith. Who? Oh, yeah, Smith. Joe, see you.
Okay. Friday. Yeah? Yeah, I remember. Well, we were there. Well, why don't you give me your name this time? No, I'm sorry. We'll have to have your name. Flint? F-L-I-N-T? All right, now look, Miss Flint, if this is some kind of a gag... All right, if you're sure this time. Right. All right. Goodbye. The woman again. Woman who called yesterday morning?
Oh, yeah. What you want now?
Same thing. Meet us at the bar.
You think she's on the level?
I don't know. It sounds like it this time.
Why didn't she show up yesterday, then?
Says she tried, but she just couldn't.
Why not?
Said something about loving her husband.
Yeah.
When the chips were down, she couldn't bring herself to turn him into us.
Yeah, but she will now, huh?
Says she has to.
Yeah, but she will now, huh?
Says she has to. She can't wait any longer.
Why?
Says it might be too late. 10:16 a.m. Frank and I left the office and drove out to the bar. When we got there was only one customer in the place, a small, dark-haired woman sitting in the corner booth.
Hi.
How are you today?
What'll it be, coffee again?
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want?
Well, we'll let you know.
Hmm?
That woman over there in the corner.
Yeah?
Do you know who she is?
Don't think she's been in before.
All right, thank you.
Say, that reminds me.
Yeah?
Sally was around last night. I asked her about you.
Yeah.
Guess she had a change of heart. She's a pretty good kid.
Yeah. Miss Flint? Are you Miss Flint?
Yes.
Well, my name's Friday. It's my partner, Frank Smith.
Can we sit down there?
Guess so.
You guys want your coffee over there?
Yeah, it'll be fine.
How about the lady?
Would you like something, ma'am?
I'd like a drink.
All right.
I'm going to need it.
What'll it be?
Oh, I don't care. Bourbon, I guess. Bourbon and ginger ale.
Lady wants a bourbon and ginger ale.
All right.
Does he know?
Ma'am?
The bartender, does he know you're cops?
No, I don't think so. We haven't told him.
Well, if anybody finds out I talked to you, if Rod ever finds out, well, I guess that just about washes up.
Rod's your husband, is that right?
Yeah.
Rodney Flint. Well, is that his name?
Not really, not his real name.
Well, what is it then?
I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He'd never understand. He'd say I was double-crossing him. Maybe I am. Maybe I...
Here you are. 2 coffees and bourbon and ginger.
What do we owe you?
That's $1 even.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
4 years I've been thinking about it, living with it. 4 years I've been trying to make up my mind whether I should go to the police or not.
Yes, ma'am.
But things seem to be working out. He was doing so well, making good money. He's changed, too, honest he has.
Well, now suppose you give us the whole story.
You married, Sergeant?
No, ma'am.
What about you?
Yeah, I'm married.
Well, tell me something, mister, and you tell me the truth.
What's that?
Suppose your wife got you in trouble. Suppose she squealed on you. What would you think of her?
Well, I guess it would depend on why she did it.
Oh, I've got a reason. Best reason in the world. I'm in love with him.
Yes, ma'am.
If I wasn't, I'd just walk out. If I didn't love him, I'd have walked out years ago.
Now, when you called us yesterday, you said your husband had bought a gun.
Yeah, that's right.
Do you know what he wants with it?
No, not for sure.
You got a pretty good idea, though, haven't you?
Has your husband ever done any time, Miss Flint?
Yes.
What for?
He stole a car.
Anything else?
Robbery. Supermarket back east.
Whereabouts?
Michigan. He used to live in Detroit.
How much time did he do?
7 years.
Did he come out free?
I don't know what you mean.
I'm sorry. Afterwards, was he on parole? Did he have to report to a parole officer?
Oh, yes.
For how long?
It was supposed to be 10 years.
When did he get out of prison?
5 years ago.
When did you come to California?
About a year later.
Did he have permission to leave the state of Michigan?
No.
Well, what made him leave then?
He just came home one day. Said he couldn't take it any longer. Said he was going to L.A. and that it was up to me whether I came with him or not.
Do you know if he's wanted for anything else besides violation of parole?
I don't think so.
You know, you still haven't told us his real name.
Frazee. Ralph Frazee.
All right, then it's Mrs. Frazee, huh? What about the gun?
Well, like I said, everything was going along pretty well. He's got a good job, and he's had 3 or 4 raises.
Where does he work?
Oil refinery. Pacific Crest Oil Company.
I see.
He likes to work. They like him, but the longer we live out here, the better things are. Well, that just makes him more scared.
Well, what's he scared of?
Oh, that somebody will find out who he really is, and then he'll have to go back to prison. If he just sees a cop, he goes all to pieces. He's sure they've finally caught up with him. Just a traffic cop, even.
Mm-hmm.
He gets worse all the time. Jumpy and nervous and, well, scared. That's the only word for it. He's been drinking a lot more, too, nearly every night.
Mm-hmm.
Then just last week, he ran into a guy that used to be a friend of his.
Back in Detroit?
Yeah. This fellow knows all about him. But he's been in prison. And Rod's afraid... Ralph. I've called him Rod so long, I keep forgetting that it isn't his real name.
Sure.
Anyway, he's afraid this guy will say something to somebody that'll all come out. It's just driving him crazy. So he bought a gun.
Did he say why?
He was pretty drunk night before last. That's when he brought it home. He mumbled something. If he was going to go back to prison anyway, he might as well make it worth their while.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's planning another robbery. I don't know. I don't really think he would. But with all this drinking and being so darned upset, well, I don't know what he might do.
Where's the gun now, Miss Frazee?
At home. He hid it in the stove in the pan under the broiler. At least that's where he put it last night after...
After what?
Well, you see, he was carrying on doing a lot of talking, and he was holding the gun at the same time, waving it around, telling me how easy it'd be to go out and rob somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Said that way he could get enough money for us to leave the country and go to Mexico, maybe, where they'd never find us. Right in the middle of everything, the pistol went off.
I see.
It was just an accident. He wasn't pointing at anything. The bullet only went into the ceiling. I'm sure he didn't mean to pull the trigger.
Yes, ma'am.
But when he heard the shot, he acted like he was going out of his mind. He was sure the neighbors had heard it, too, and that they'd report it to the police.
What'd he do then?
Well, he dug the bullet out of the ceiling and got rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, he just waited. Now, that proves he's changed, doesn't it? That he really isn't a criminal anymore?
How do you mean that?
Well, he didn't run away.
Yeah.
Stayed there all night long, waiting. And he didn't keep the gun. He put it in the oven. He didn't have it on him. So there wouldn't have been any trouble even if the police did come.
Mm-hmm.
See, I kept praying that they would. Over and over, I prayed you'd come and find out who he is. He's got to go back to prison and finish out his sentence. I'm sure of that now. If he doesn't, I just don't know what'll happen to him.
What about you, Miss Frazee?
Me?
While he's in prison, what'll you do?
Oh, I can work. I did before. I'll manage.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Frazee, what time's your husband come home from work?
It's later and later since he started drinking. 9 o'clock, maybe even 10. He's never there for supper anymore.
Is there someplace else you can go this evening? Over to a neighbor's, maybe?
I suppose so. Why?
Well, it might be better if you weren't there when we pick him up.
But you can't. I mean, well, not so soon, not tonight. Does it have to be tonight?
Yes, ma'am, it does.
I know it was me. That I had something to do with it. He's bound to know.
We'll keep you out of it if we can.
What are you going to tell him? What kind of an excuse will you use?
Let's see what kind he has. Frank and I continued to talk to Mrs. Frazee. She agreed to be out of the house during the evening. She also gave us a description of her husband. She said he was WMA, 38 years old, 5'11", and he weighed about 170. She told us he had black hair, brown eyes, and a dark complexion. 11:27 a.m., we went back to the office. We ran the names Rodney Flint and Ralph Frazee through R&I. They had nothing on Flint. Under Frazee, we found a warrant from the state of Michigan for a violation of parole. The dates given on the warrant checked with what Mrs. Frazee had told us. We contacted the Pacific Crest Oil Refinery, and without stating that we were from the police department, we learned that a man named Rodney Flint had been employed there for the last 3 years. They said he was a steady, dependable worker. 6:32 p.m., we drove out to the address Mrs. Frazee had given us. It was a modest one-story home just off Santa Monica Boulevard. We parked across the street and waited for Frazee to return from work. 7:05 p.m., we saw Mrs. Frazee go into a neighbor's home 3 doors west. Frank and I continued to wait. 8:46 p.m.
Joe, across the street.
Yeah, he's turned into the driveway. Just give him a minute, let him get inside.
All right.
No, the lights are on now. Let's go.
All right. See the bell?
Over there.
Oh, yeah. He's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah?
We'd like to talk to you for a minute.
What about?
We're police officers.
What?
Police. This is Frank Smith. My name's Friday.
I didn't send for no cops.
It's all right if we come in?
What do you want?
Just want to talk to you, that's all.
Now, you can do your talking out here.
Be easier if we were inside.
I ain't got all night.
Neither have we. This won't take very long.
Yeah, okay, come on.
All right, stand right
Hey,
there.
what?
Stand still.
What is all this?
He's clean, Joe.
What's your name? Come on, give us your name.
Flint.
First name, too.
Rodney.
You alone?
Yeah?
You live alone?
My wife's out. She left me a note. Said she's going over the neighbors babysit for.
Mm-hmm. Were you home last night?
Yeah, I was home.
All night?
From about 10 o'clock on.
Did you hear a gun go off?
What?
A gun. Did you hear one go off?
Of course not.
Well, somebody did, and they reported it. Said it sounded like it came from this house.
Last night, she said.
That's right, Flint.
Boy, what a police force. You cops ought to be real proud of yourselves.
Yeah?
That's all you got to do, check up on some characters, been hearing things.
There wasn't any shot, huh?
Well, I didn't hear.
I see.
Kind of late to be asking, ain't it?
We just got around to it.
Took a whole day, huh? Suppose you need a cop. What are you supposed to do, make an appointment ahead of time?
Are you sure about this, huh, Flint?
About what?
You didn't hear any gunfire.
I didn't hear nothing. There's a lot of traffic down the boulevard. Maybe a car was backfiring. Maybe that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Do you own a gun? You sure about that?
Well, I'd know if I had a gun, wouldn't I?
Is it all right if we look around?
What for?
Want to give your place a once-over?
No, it's not okay.
Oh?
I ain't gonna have you busting in here. Now, come on, go on, beat it, huh?
We can get a search warrant and come back.
Now, you listen to me, and you listen good, huh? This isn't Skid Row, mister. This is my home. I own it. Now, you're not messing around a Main Street bum, either. I got a good job for a big company. They pay a lot of taxes in this town. They pay a lot of your salary.
Yeah.
My boss is a pretty important guy. He's got friends. So now you just take your little badges and move on.
All right, Flint, if that's the way you want it.
That's the way I want it.
Just give us one more thing. What are you afraid of?
I'm not afraid of anything, you guys especially.
You're sure not very anxious for us to look around. There must be a reason for that. Well?
Okay. Go ahead and search. It's no skin off of my nose.
All right, thanks.
Fat chance you'd have a find on something even if it was here. Some cops, it took you a whole day to get here, a whole day to answer one lousy crackpot call.
Well, don't forget.
Yeah?
It got answered. Frank and I began a routine search of the house. While Frank went through the 2 bedrooms, I took the living room and dining area. We found nothing suspicious. 9:42 p.m. We'd finished with the front part of the home, and we went into the kitchen. The suspect followed us.
Okay, if I fix myself a drink while you're messing the joint up?
It's up to you.
You guys want one?
What?
A blast. You want one?
No, thanks.
What about you?
No, thanks.
You don't drink, huh? Not hurting my feelings.
I'll check the service ports, Joe.
All right.
You know, my wife's going to raise Cain when she sees what you guys have done to the house.
We're being as careful as we can, Flint.
Yeah, sure. Well, now, come on. How about winding it up, huh?
Just a couple of minutes.
Well, you boys really believe in wasting time, don't you? What do they do? Pay you by the hour?
There's nothing out there, Joe.
No. I guess that takes care of it.
Yeah.
All right, come on. I'll be glad to show you to the door.
We'll find our way. Just a minute. Did you check the stove?
Huh?
The stove.
No, I thought you did.
All right.
All right, now what?
We forgot something.
Yeah?
Well, it looks empty.
What's with you? You think I'm cooking a gun?
Yeah, it's okay, Joe.
All right.
As soon as I get this pan back.
Hey, watch it there.
Grab him, Joe.
Wait a minute, Flint. You're not going anywhere.
Look, I don't know what this is all about. I never saw that gun before in my whole life.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it got.
Well, let's talk about it downtown.
Huh?
Come on.
Look, wait a minute now. You can't haul me in like this. What have I done? You got to have a charge. I know the law. You got to charge me with something. You won't find it.
We found a gun. We drove the suspect down to the city hall, rolled his prints, and booked him in on suspicion of robbery. 11:06 p.m. We brought him into the squad room for questioning.
All right. Sit down over there.
What kind of a frame is this? Come on, how about letting me in on it, huh? Who'd I rob?
You can forget about our robbery charge. I guess we made a mistake.
Well, that's what I've been telling you, you know.
We had to check the gun. We had to be sure.
All right, so now you know.
Yeah.
Okay, no hard feelings.
Sit down, Fraser.
What?
You heard me. Sit down. Maybe we were wrong about the robbery charge, but we came up with something else. A warrant from Michigan, violation of parole.
What about it, Fraser?
Well,
what do you want to know? You've got it, the whole story.
Why'd you leave Michigan? Why'd you jump parole?
Oh, what difference does it make?
Suppose you tell us about it.
I didn't have no choice.
Yeah?
I used to play around with some pretty rough boys. I got out of the joint. They're still in Detroit. Looked me up. You guys will think I'm conning you, but... Well, look, I wanted to go straight. They had different ideas.
Yeah?
So we came out here, Dorothy and me. She's my wife.
I see.
Well, you can check on me. I've been clean ever since. Ask the company. Talk to anybody about me. They'll tell you I'm clean.
Yeah.
That going to help back in Michigan?
No, that's not up to us.
Sure. I thought that was why they sent you to jail, so you'd learn something. So when you come out, you won't do it again.
That's part of it.
Well, I learned. What good did it do me?
Maybe you didn't learn enough.
Huh?
There's a law against the next convict having a gun.
Are you going to stick me with that one, too, huh?
That's not up to us either.
Lousy gun. If it hadn't been for that gun, you'd never found me.
Well, it might have taken a little longer, that's all.
Sure, that's what did it. I don't know why it went off the other night. I thought the safety was on, just my luck. I never had a decent break in my whole life, not one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, is there any more you guys want?
No, I guess not. Not now, anyway.
It's all right if I call my wife.
Yeah, we'll fix it for you.
Wonder how she's going to take it.
I don't know.
I guess she'll stick by me. She always has. Through all the rotten breaks, no matter what. Yeah, she'll stick.
Well, you must have had one good break then, huh?
Huh?
When you married her.
The story you've just heard is true. The names were changed to protect the innocent.
On Thursday, May 25th, a meeting was held in the district attorney's office in and for the county of Los Angeles, state of California. In a moment, the results of that meeting. In the interest of justice, and because of the suspect's good behavior record in Los Angeles, it was decided not to press charges against him for possessing a gun. Ralph Putnam Frazee, alias Rodney Flint, was turned over to Michigan authorities to serve out his previous sentence. He has since been released and has returned to his former employment in Los Angeles. You have just heard Dragnet, a series of authentic cases from official files. Technical advice comes from the Office of Chief of Police W.H. Parker, Los Angeles Police Department.